Iran is one of the most sanctioned countries in the world. So why is it still so powerful? This doesn't make sense until you look closer. Most people think Iran is weak, isolated, cut off from the world. But that's not the full story. Iran is one of the most heavily sanctioned countries in the world. So why does it still project significant power? Most observers consider Iran weak, isolated, and economically struggling. Many analysts have repeatedly predicted its imminent collapse. Over the past decades, Iran has faced extensive international sanctions. In 2025, it experienced direct military strikes on its nuclear facilities. Later that year, UN snapback sanctions were reimposed. The country also dealt with high inflation, currency devaluation, and periods of domestic unrest in late 2025 and early 2026. Despite these considerable pressures, Iran has not collapsed. Instead, the reality appears quite different. While much of the international community has focused on Iran's economic difficulties and external setbacks, the country has pursued a strategy of adaptation and self-reliance. It has developed its own industrial capabilities, advanced its missile and drone programs, and built extensive regional networks of influence. What many saw as measures designed to isolate and weaken Iran have, in practice, pushed the country toward greater internal resilience and alternative partnerships. This raises an important question. Has prolonged external pressure actually made Iran more resistant to traditional forms of coercion? But survival isn't the same as power. Iran didn't just endure the pressure, it deliberately invested in a different kind of strength. Today, it possesses one of the largest ballistic missile arsenals in the entire Middle East, with hundreds of missiles capable of reaching distant targets, including launches toward the Indian Ocean in early 2026. Its drone program has proven even more impactful in real conflicts. Low-cost Shahed-type drones have been deployed in massive numbers, stretching advanced air defense systems to their limits. And instead of trying to match the expensive high-tech platforms of global superpowers, Iran chose a smarter path: asymmetric warfare. It developing weapons that are faster to produce, far cheaper to deploy, and much harder for any opponent to predict or fully neutralize. Swarm tactics, mobile launchers, and dispersed production lines allow Iran to keep pressure even when facing superior conventional forces. It doesn't aim to dominate the skies with the biggest air force. It doesn't seek to match aircraft carriers or fifth-generation fighters. Instead, Iran focuses on becoming the hardest target to defeat, forcing any adversary into a long, costly war of attrition where every strike comes at a high price. This approach turns limited resources into outsized strategic influence. Every strike comes at a high price for any adversary. Iran isn't playing the conventional game. It is rewriting the rules of the entire game. But Iran's real power goes far beyond its borders. While the world focuses on sanctions and missiles inside Iran, Tehran has quietly built something much more dangerous: a vast network of influence across the entire Middle East. Political, military, strategic. In Iraq, Iran-backed militias practically control large parts of the government and security forces. In Syria, Iranian troops and advisors helped keep Assad in power. In Lebanon, Hezbollah, one of the most heavily armed non-state actors in the world, acts as Iran's forward base right on Israel's border. Yemen, Gaza, even parts of Afghanistan. Iran's fingerprints are everywhere. It doesn't need to occupy these countries, it simply shapes them. It supplies weapons, trains fighters, funds politicians, and creates proxy armies that fight on its behalf. So when you see attacks on shipping in the Red Sea, or rockets raining down on Israel, from multiple directions at once, you're not just seeing local conflicts, you're seeing Iran's extended hand. And that changes everything, because a country that can project power like this, without putting its own soldiers in every battlefield, is playing a completely different game. So why do people still think Iran is weak? Because power doesn't always look obvious. We're used to measuring strength with flashy numbers, GDP charts, global approval, and screaming headlines. But real power is quieter. It builds slowly in the shadows. It adapts when the world tries to crush it. Even after the 2020 Israeli-American strikes on its nuclear sites, even after the UN snapback sanctions in September 2025, even with inflation hitting 42% and massive street protests, Iran didn't collapse. It doubled down on its resistance economy. While the world watched the rial crash and predicted regime failure, Iran turned necessity into invention, expanding local production, boosting non-oil exports, and forging new internal supply chains that are almost impossible to break. Sanctions that were meant to isolate Iran have instead forged a system that survives pressure most countries could never endure. So the next time you see another headline screaming that Iran is on the brink, remember this. What looks like weakness on the surface is often the foundation of a much darker, much harder kind of power. This is what makes Iran different. It doesn't follow the usual rules. It doesn't depend on the global system, and that makes it unpredictable and very hard to control. Iran isn't weak. It's one of the most underestimated countries in the world. And sometimes, the most underestimated players are the most dangerous.